Welcome to Supercar Driver TV, and today we're bringing you a very special head-to-head drag race video with some of the world's best supercars. We're down here in sunny England at an RAF base. We have full roam of their mile-long runway, and we're going to pitch these incredible cars against each other to see who comes out on top. Okay, so before we get these cars on the runway, let's just have a quick walk around them and see what we've got. Starting with the Ferrari F12. This is one of our more powerful cars here today. It's pushing out 740 horsepower, but it is a rear-wheel drive car with a front-mounted engine, so we might not have the same traction off the line as some of the other cars. Moving on, McLaren 675 LT. Now the power-to-weight ratio on this thing is pretty crazy. It's pushing out 666 brake horsepower, and wet weight is around about 1,350 kilograms, so power to weight is pretty crazy. And to top it all off, it has a dual clutch gearbox, so through the gears are going to be super fast and smooth. 918 barely needs any introduction. Porsche's hypercar. This is going to be ultra interesting because it has four-wheel drive and it's also hybrid assisted, which means it's going to have that instant torque and instant traction. This is the car here to beat. Moving further down, Lamborghini Huracan. Again, all-wheel drive system and a twin clutch gearbox. So off the line it has that traction advantage, and through the gears it's going to be super punchy, but who knows what it'll do top speed. AMG GTS. This is the newest generation of Mercedes turbocharged engines, which means it's got loads of torque. Again, off the line will be interesting, but similar to the F12, it is front-engined rear-wheel drive, so traction will be interesting. Aston Martin GT12, we're simply honored to even have this thing here. Ultra rare car. It's amazing that we have the opportunity to pitch this thing against these cars. I think it's a first to actually have it drag racing cars like this, so it's going to be super interesting to find out how it does. And walking a bit further back to our final three cars, the Lamborghini Aventador Super Veloce. Again, four-wheel drive system, V12, but it does have that single clutch gearbox. So while it might not be as efficient as the likes of the Huracan or 918 under gear shifts, it does have a huge amount of power from that V12, and off the line with the all-wheel drive system, this thing squats and goes. McLaren 570S. This is kind of known as McLaren's entry-level supercar, but don't let that fool you. I've spent quite a lot of time in the 570S, and it gives a 911 Turbo a run for its money. It doesn't have four-wheel drive, so it doesn't have the same amount of traction, but that incredible twin-clutch gearbox and loads of torque, not to mention full carbon tub, so super lightweight. It's going to be really interesting to see how this thing does. And finally, car number 9 is the Porsche GT3 RS. Conventionally lightweight car. It does have a big wing on it, so it'll be interesting to see when it approaches higher speeds if that wing slows it down under drag. But again, lightweight and also twin clutch gearbox. And that's our lineup for today. 9 incredibly special cars, 1 mile runway, and all day to find out who's the leader. Let's do it. Okay, the competition format for today is fastest stays on. Each car's going to be dragging down a half-a-mile strip, and it's the best of 3 runs. Okay, first up is the Mercedes AMG GTS versus the Aston Martin GT12. Okay, so the AMG GTS came out on top, and it's now time for that to move up and go up against the Porsche GT3 RS. Okay, the AMG GTS has taken it again against the Porsche GT3 RS. That means it moves through to round 3 against the McLaren 570S. Okay, the AMG GTS has come to the end of its winning streak. This time round, the McLaren 570S took the win and it's going to go through up against the Lamborghini Huracan. We weren't sure what to think about this one, but amazingly the McLaren 570S has beaten the Lamborghini Huracan, which incredibly means the 570S is now going head to head with the Ferrari F12. Okay, after 3 close runs, the F12 eventually did take the lead over the McLaren 570S, which means 570S hits the bench and the F12 goes through against the McLaren 675 LT. Okay, after a head-to-head with the F12, the 675 LT smashes the lead, which means F12 takes a back seat and the 675 LT moves forward to take on the Lamborghini Aventador Super Veloce. Arguably the most anticipated race of the day, 675 takes it over the Aventador SV. Next up is the final race. 675 LT takes on the Porsche 918. These are the 2 fastest cars here going head to head for the final race. We don't know who's going to come out on top. 918 has incredible traction off the line, but 675 LT weighs lighter. There's only one way to find out. was it, the last race of the day, and I guess unsurprisingly, the 918 absolutely killed it. Despite the McLaren 675 destroying the Aventador SV, the hybrid hypercar vanished into the sunset. And that is the end of our drag race video for the day. Once again, we got to say a massive thank you to BOTB.com for sponsoring this fantastic event and making it possible. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Ciao!